I'll wait for a couple of people to come in. Grace and peace to y'all. I want to apologize ahead of time to those of you who are cold right now. I know y'all see that sky behind me. It's not cold. It's actually really nice today, which is very good because all things considered, it's been pretty rainy. It's been pretty rainy lately. So all things considered, I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful for the weather today. I hope it stays this nice today. Shalom, shalom family. Y'all know what to do when y'all come on in. Make yourself known. Get that thumbs up. I'm outside, right? I've been doing a lot of these lives that I do like this inside, but I wanted to come outside today, get a little bit of a fresh air. It's nothing like fresh air. So let me see who we have in here today. Grace and peace, Brother Timothy. Good to see you, my brother. Monica, shalom, peace and blessings to you. Bantu Lisa, greetings, royal family indeed. Thank you. I missed y'all too. I'm really glad to get to catch up with y'all again. Team Truth, peace and blessings. Sister Sabrina, shalom. Sister Tabitha, shalom to you as well. Shout out to Sister Carolina for reaching out. Shalom, sis. I miss you too, and I'm doing all right. I wanted to come on today because I know I haven't been on in a while. First off, before we even get started, I want to say first to those of you who are celebrating the Feast of Dedication, happy Feast of Dedication to you. We will be celebrating on the 20th. If you're celebrating the Feast of Dedication, do me a favor and put a 1 in the chat. Let's talk about that first before we get into the conversation that we're gonna have today. But if you're celebrating the Feast of Dedication, put a 1 in the chat. I'm gonna wait for those ones, but before I do, I want to give my sincere condolences to you, Brother Timothy. You said that your wife passed away on November 27th. My brother, I am so sorry. May Yah give you peace, and may you take this time. Got an airplane right over my head. May you take this time to process through your emotions. Process through all your emotions. Take this time to get through as long as you need to process through the pain of losing your beloved. If we could all in the chat please send some heartfelt condolences and some emojis to our dear brother Timothy for his loss. You know, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I wasn't gonna head in this direction, but I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I just got back from seeing my grandmother, who has dementia, and she had a hard fall down some steps yesterday. She hit the back of her head, and I'm gonna ask y'all to pray for my grandmother because she doesn't even remember falling. She had an MRI, and it seems like it's fine for now, but I know that sometimes these things don't work out that way. But I hadn't seen her for months, and then the first thing I find out when she does come back is that she had a fall down hard steps, steep hard steps. This is a time where we are having a lot of difficult and sad situations in our life. And I want to acknowledge that there are many of us out here who are dealing with very hard situations with our family, with our loved ones, with work, with ministry, with friends. It's a very, very complicated time in the world right now. So to all of you who are going through, whatever it is that you're going through, you know, just understand you're not alone. All of us are experiencing it in our own way. And again, to those of you who are going through difficult times, just know that it's a mark of the believer in how we handle it. how we handle these situations that we're facing. So I'm going to take my time a little bit to talk today. Again, those of you who are celebrating Feast of Dedication, I see a couple of ones in the chat. All right, Brother Anthony says he's celebrating. That's fantastic. Yes, absolutely. I'm going to be celebrating. My family and I, we've been celebrating the Feast of Dedication for about the last 3 or 4 years now. This is the first year that we've decorated. And I'm really glad, because to have that type of time with the family, with my children, that can bring some sort of, like, in the midst of a lot of tough stuff, a little bit of joy. I know that our joy is found in the Most High, and that's what strengthens us. But to be able to see their faces light up, and also we're going to show some videos that give them, in a child's understanding, of what this whole thing is about, what the Feast of Dedication is about, defending the temple. And really that's important for the topic that we're going to discuss today, about defending this understanding of what the temple is. Because we know, according to the word of Yahuwah, that we are the temple, right? Our bodies became a temple unto the Most High when we received Yahusha as the Savior of our life. The Ruach HaKodesh lives within us. And so when we're talking about the understanding of the temple and why it's supposed to be holy, it really always goes back to here. And this is why I wanted to address this issue of the colonizer mind. Now, I've wanted to address this issue about the colonizer mind, and I'm really talking about the colonizer mindset. I've wanted to address it for probably the last 3 or 4 weeks. I have not addressed the situation, and I have not spoken online because I needed to process through a lot of the things that I had been dealing with on a personal level before I got here and I began to speak to you guys about this subject. We know when we look back, and looking back at scripture, looking back at our ancestors during the time of slavery, let's look back there. Many of the times when we were dealing with corruption among Judah, corruption among Yasharel, it came from within. The corruption usually came from within. What we do like our forefather Adam, and we look to blame from the outside. But what we really need to do is take internal stock and see that so much of what has happened to us as a people has happened among and through us. We have been in opposition to ourselves and our own prosperity for such a long time. And I hate that that is the reality that we have passed down from one generation to the other generation to the next generation, this distrusting spirit, where we cannot fully put our trust in our brothers and our sisters, because oftentimes we find that when we put our faith and we put our trust inside of the camp, inside of our brothers and sisters, that there's somebody there that is working to oppose the betterment of everybody else. And that is a person who's operating with the mindset of the colonizer. You look all throughout scripture, and the thing that the Most High had a problem with is that Israel wanted to be like the rest of the nations. Israel never wanted to be what Israel was supposed to be, which was a set-apart Kodesh people, observing and following after the culture and the practices and the ways of the Most High. No, we see what people are doing on the outside, and they look like they're prospering, and they look like they're having a great time, and they look like they're having fun. So why can't we be like the other nations? Even after our deliverance from the first Egypt, we go into the wilderness, and the first thing you have is not Sanballat and Tobias, that was during the time of Nehemiah, but you have those who would complain, and were complaining because they were in the wilderness. And let's make a God unto ourselves to take us back to Egypt. Why? Because we've got to be with the colonizers. We've got to be with those who look like they are prosperous, even though it is our own talents, our own creativity, our own abilities that the Most High has put in us, ingenuity that He's given within us for us to prosper. We give the credit to those who've manipulated us out of it. Now, the reason I'm talking about the colonizer mindset is because I see it as still prevalent today. I see it as so prevalent where we as a people are still operating in the ways of our oppressors towards one another. You remember that One of the things that the natives said about the white man when the white man came is that they handed them beads and took their land. One of the things that our brothers and sisters in Africa said is they handed us a Bible and took our land. So it was a system of manipulation that the colonizers. Now, I just was disconnected for half a second. All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. I've been broken up. I keep breaking up. Do y'all hear me? Do y'all see me? Give me a 1 if you see me. Give me a 1 if you see me. All right, shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings, dear sis. Sister E in the building, peace and blessings. All right, praise Yahuwah. All right, so let's get into what the colonizer mindset looks like, because no need to be vague, okay? The colonizer mindset is where we will see the talents and we will see the gifts of our fellow Hebrew brother or sister. And we will then manipulate them out of their gifts, out of their abilities to be self-serving. The colonizer mindset. We don't want their best interest. We only want our best interest. You see this oftentimes when you're dealing with business, but you can also see this when you're dealing with ministry. When you know that you're dealing with somebody who has a colonizer mindset, it's the mindset of a person who wants to take a certain portion of the talent and the people of Yasharal and take them unto themselves. They do not want the benefit of the collective. They talk about unity. They talk about us being a people that loves one another. They talk all of this verbiage, but at the end of the day, what they're doing is they're trying to separate Yah's people for their own means and their own purposes. That is the colonizer mindset. Someone who is operating in the spirit of control. They're using unity as a means of trying to soften the mind of the person or the people so that they will think that they are serving them for their best interest. But in reality, the person who's operating in the colonizer mindset knows that what they're doing is trying to become a god unto themselves. They know that ultimately what they're doing is to be self-serving. They're not interested in the people. They're not interested in what the Most High wants for his people. They want to be the head honcho. They want to be the person that everybody looks to and says, ha, that person is the person that we should follow. This has gone on for so long. This has gone on in your families. This has gone on in your businesses. This has gone on in your ministries. This is going on before you were awake, and it's all throughout the awakening too. You're dealing with all kinds of people who operate under a system of manipulation, who operate under a system of fear and coercion in order to attach themselves to you and take you away from the will of Yah for your life. And it's subtle. You have to understand that the system of the colonizer mind is subtle. It has to be subtle. Because there's no way that I'm going to come in and I'm going to tell you that I actually have evil for you and you're going to stand there and you're going to put up with it. No, I have to convince you that I have good for you, that I want the best for you, that I want to do you well and not do you dirty so that I can glean as much information out of you as possible and then turn around and use it for my own purposes and destroy you. And that's what has happened to us again and again and again. That's why we are so trusting of every other nation, but we can't seem to get along with one another. When I talk about the colonizer mindset, I'm saying that we as a people, we're destroyed because we are operating with one another in that mindset. And we ruin trust. We ruin trust. Now, I think we have to be We have to be careful, is what I'm saying. We have to be careful about anything that somebody's saying to you. I don't care who's saying what to you. I don't care if I'm saying something to you. I don't care whether it's in your family. I don't care whether it's in your business. I don't care whether it's in your ministry. You be very careful to listen to what people are saying and weigh that against what they are doing. You have to listen to what they say, but you also have to weigh it against what they are doing. That's what the scripture commands, that we are slow to speak, quick to listen, and slow to get angry. Because when you're dealing with somebody who is operating in the colonizer mindset, essentially what you're dealing with is a complete and utter narcissist. Y'all familiar with that term? You're dealing with a narcissistic person, a person who will gaslight you, a person who will love bomb you first, make you feel incredible, special, wonderful. And then they will put a swirl of confusion around you. And before you know it, you've given all of your energy, all of your effort, all your creativity, all of your time, and you're left with nothing. And so many of us today, we're in that situation. Many of us today are in a situation where we have been manipulated over and over again by people who told us that they had our best interest for us. I've been wanting to talk about this for a couple of weeks now. Because it's not one person, it's not one company, it's an entire system of Babylon. It's the entire, you see, the reason why our ancestors, if you look at the book, I believe it's the book of Jasher, that talks about how Pharaoh dealt with the Hebrews. Pharaoh did not come out initially and say, you know what, I want you to be my slaves and I'm going to enslave you. That's not what happened. What he did is he dealt subtly with the people. What he did was he said, well, you know, I'm going to get you to do a little bit of work here, and then I'm going to pay you. So he promised to pay them good, and then he didn't pay them. He made a bunch of excuses, but then they kept working, and then he strong-armed them, and before they knew it, they were slaves. It happens over time. It happens over time. Some of you people are in relationships and situations right now where you have been strong-armed, but you were believing that that person was going to be honest. This is how whole cults are formed. When the cult leader tells the people just enough truth to wrangle them in, to win their affection, to win their trust. And the next thing you know, they pull the wool on them. They pull the wool over their eyes. But that person's in too deep now. You're in too deep. So you begin to rationalize. And you go, well, they don't really mean it that way. Well, it wasn't really this way. Well, you know, I'm going to give them another chance. Because based off of the history that I have with them, they don't seem like they're there to manipulate me. And before you know it, you're in so deep, you're mind controlled, and you don't even know how you got there. You don't even know how you got to that place where this person has essentially robbed you of everything that you have that's meaningful, that's strong in your life. And that is the recipe for the narcissistic colonizer mind relationship. Now, I understand, you know, it's not easy to put a finger on. It's not easy to put a finger on. But if you understand how narcissism works, if you understand what it means for a person or a people or a group to come up to you and they have pretense, but really on the inside, they're trying to take from you and give you nothing or little in return. You have to be discerning. I have to be discerning. We have to be discerning. We have to watch not just what people say, but we have to watch what they do. It's not just a matter of what people say. We can't just go, oh, well, they're Hebrews, so I trust them. Oh, they're woke, so I trust them. Man, let me tell you what. I am getting to the point in my life where if you pull a Bible out of me and start saying scriptures to me off the break, I'm side-eyeing you. If you try to come at me and you want me to do something with you, and it's not related at all to ministry, I'm not talking about ministry-related things, but if you come to me and you try to use the Bible, I'm looking at you side-eyed, because I believe that you're trying to find my angle. I believe that you're looking to figure out what angle you can get from me in order to get what you want out of me. We have to think about how people manipulate. We have to think about how people use and how people abuse. And I'm just saying that because we're living in a time where many of us have been used and abused, washed up, dried out, frustrated, exhausted, head hurting, stressed out. And we're trying to figure out how we got from point A to point B. And how you got from point A to point B is because you were not discerning. I was not discerning. Do we not remember when Yahushua said that the children of this world are more shrewd than you, than the children of the kingdom? We don't like the fact that people treat us the way that they do, but the truth is, many of us, we're like an open receptor for it. We're open receptor for the abuse because we've been trained in that mentality. We've been trained to not have boundaries. We've been trained to allow people to say what they want to say, be kind to us, and then turn around and show their fangs later on. Many of you have experienced this going to church hurt, family problems, work-related situations. I know I have. I'm not coming to any of you as though I'm above it. I want to be very clear about that. I am not above it. I have been manipulated. I have been mistreated. I have been dogged. I have been taken advantage of. I have been going through just like everyone else. And the reality is that as you get older and you go through the journey of life, then you recognize the patterns. And you go, wait a minute. I've been here before. I've gone through that situation before. And when you're able to do that, that's when things start to shift for you. But you got to be discerning. And so for this past month, I've been looking at this situation and I've been quiet. I've been really quiet a lot. I mean, I went on to a couple of channels. I went on to Sister E's channel. I went on to Teo's channel. But for the most part, I haven't gotten up to speak because I've had to discern. I've had to look at the situations where my own people, I'm not talking about white people, y'all. I'm not talking about white people. I had to look at situations where my own people have operated in the colonizer mind. I've had to look where my own people have backstabbed, betrayal. So we got to be careful about this. Oh, we're just going to just because they woke, because of this, because none of that. None of that. We got to start doing what the scripture said, and we got to start testing people's spirits. And I'm not telling you that I don't test people's spirits, because I do. But you got to look out for them red flags. When the red flags begin to show up and people start to switch up on you, don't make excuses for them. Don't make excuses when people are switching up on you. When somebody says something that's wrong, you need to check them the first time. When somebody says something that's out of pocket, you need to check them the first time. Especially in this walk. Especially at this time where people's hearts are fragile, where people are turning to the left and they turn it to the right, they don't know which way to go. Don't be one of those people. You need to, when you hear something or when you see something that's being done wrong by somebody that you look up to, somebody that you were in agreement with yesterday, you need to be able to go to that person and you need to be saying, hold on a second now. We're going to have to address this situation right here. And you need to address it. No, don't get all super spiritual now. They'll be like, oh, you know, I'm going to just pray about it. No. Pray and address that thing. Confront that thing. And if the attitude from the person is to where they do not want to change their ways, then drop them like a bad habit. I said it. You see, this is why the Apostle Paul talked about how adultery was going on in the house of the Most High, and it was allowed to continue to go on because everybody turned a blind eye to it. Oh, it ain't like that. Let's just, you know, let's ignore it because, you know, they're good, they're believers. You know, so much stuff has happened in the quote-unquote church because everybody turned a blind eye to it because the church was being led by somebody with a colonizer mindset, who was a complete and total narcissist, who had won over the affection of everyone there, but he was a total snake. And the Apostle Paul looked back and he called that sucker out and he said, no, this dude is a snake. This dude is sleeping with somebody's wife. Address it. And then kick them out if they're not going to change it. We got to deal with this stuff, y'all. We got to deal with this with family, everybody. I had a family member come to me today. Oh, we got some Christmas party coming up. I addressed it off the top. You know I don't celebrate Christmas. I said, no, I don't celebrate Christmas. No, thank you. Come on, get yourself a plate for the Feast of Dedication. You have to learn how to stand and address things when you see them. Because if you don't address something when you see it, you're going to find yourself a victim of the colonizer mindset. And what happens to those who become victims of the colonizer mindset? They become slaves. Yeah, you could be a slave to your own people. It's happened before. It happened during slavery. And when you want to rebel, those would be the same people to go to the master and say, hey, master, they're trying to rebel. All of our slave revolts, for the most part, were ended. Didn't get an opportunity to really take off because one of our own with a colonizer mindset. You belong right here on this plantation with me. So I wanted to address this because, like I said, it's been on my mind for like the past month. And I feel like it's the reason why so many of us are in the situation that we're in today, where we have been too trusting of our own people. We've been too trusting of our own people. Just because somebody looks like us and talks like us does not necessarily mean that they are for us. Be very careful about that. Just somebody looks, they know all the right things to say, but they're energy vampires. They're trying to steal from you. So be very careful about that. I'm going to look in the comment section real quick. Some of y'all understand what I'm talking about. Chosen Daughter says, narcissism is at a peak. It's all I've been seeing lately. Absolutely. That's it. Talisha Yah says a Babylonian consciousness. 100%. That's the whole point. The whole thing about the colonizer mindset is the Babylonian mindset. Babylon comes from the word Babel, which means confusion. And if you're dealing with people who have a narcissistic mindset, their entire goal is to keep you spinning around in a circle of confusion, a web of confusion. But I thought we had said, what? And that's how you are, because you don't understand that that person is operating under that spirit of a Babylonian consciousness, colonizer mindset, total narcissism. Yep, led to their whims and wants only. Yeah, because slavery is not a mutual benefit agreement. It's not. It's you giving up your labor, your talent, your creativity, your ability for them to be able to reap from. And you reap smoke and mirrors. Y'all only can help you and heal you dealing with these people personal and public. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When you recognize that what you do, you have to call it out immediately. That's what you have to do. When you see somebody operating under that mindset, you have to call them out immediately. Don't play the game with them. Don't play the game with them. And sometimes you're going to just have to just cut off. You're going to have to just completely cut off, because you have to understand that this mindset is all about being able to harvest your energy. It's energy harvesting. They want to be able to gain access to your energy, because if you can empower them through your, whether you're angry, whether you're sad, it doesn't matter. You don't give them your energy, because that's how they thrive. Yeah, you got to watch their footwork. Yaquaba says, sometimes I'm a little slow catching on, but I catch on. Bro, let me tell you something. When you're dealing with the mindset of a narcissist and the colonizer mindset, you are. See, we've had to, over years, we've put these things in labels to where we could properly understand it, because you are confused. Okay, so then we come up with terms like microaggression, right? When you're dealing with people with racism, there's microaggression, there's macroaggression. There's all types of ways in which you start seeing the subtleties. It's in the nuances. But before long, you're in a web where you have gotten in too deep, and you didn't realize that you were under an entire system of confusion, because you just kept believing this person was being honest. You kept believing they were upfront. But that's why when you see the first sign of a red flag, when you see them doing and saying something out of pocket, that's when you have to call it out. Because if you don't call it out, they're just going to bring you in deeper and deeper and deeper. And this is especially true in this awakening. I'll talk about that for a minute, briefly. Over these past couple of years, we've seen it over and over again. Many of you came into this awakening as born-again Christians. Many of you. You came in, you knew the word, you knew who the Savior was, you knew who he wasn't, and now there's a lot of y'all who are confused. Y'all don't know if you believe in Mormon doctrine. You don't know if you believe in Seventh-day Adventist doctrine. You don't know if you believe that he even exists anymore, that he's even a Savior. Is he the Savior, or is it just the Father? Are we worshiping the Son, and we only supposed to worship you don't even know where you're at anymore. You're confused. You've been bit by the colonizer mindset. Okay? You've been bit. You don't even know where you stand anymore. You listen to this person tell you this, and that person tell you that, and da. Listen, if you don't stand on a solid rock, you will be blown over. If you don't stand on the rock of your salvation, you will be blown over. That's biblical. That's word. If you're on shaky ground, when the wind and the waves come, they're going to toss you to and fro, and you're going to be all over the place. Because you're confused. Because you believed that Babylonian, colonizer, narcissist mindset. A lot of boys were ignored in Eddie Long's church. Perfect example. Perfect example. Perfect example. I mean, do I need to even add to that? Colonizer mindset. Brother Timothy says, right, I had to tell my daughter about bringing a Christmas tree in our house like I didn't teach anything. Oh, they play dumb. Huh? What you mean? What you talking about? No, that's a part of the confusion. That's a part of the confusion. No, she's not listening, because she's hearing what she want to hear. Team Truth said, this is a word, been thinking that the greatest harm we can do to ourselves is to be complicit in the schemes of the enemy. My. See, that's the problem I've been wrestling with for the past month. That is the problem. This is why I didn't want to talk about this until I was in a place where I could. You see, because that is let me read that again. Been thinking that the greatest harm we can do to ourselves is to be complicit in the schemes of the enemy. When you recognize that you are being manipulated, when you recognize that you are being taken advantage of, when you recognize that you're being gaslit, when you recognize all these things and you remain and are complicit in that situation when you don't need to be, you are helping the schemes of the enemy. Shalom, God's saint. Peace and blessings to you. Brother Timothy, I remember many years ago I was getting married, and my sister, she was involved in New Age stuff, okay? And I told her that I didn't want none of that potions and hoodoo and all that stuff up in my house. She tried me, because a narcissist will always try you. My sister bought the stuff anyway, and she then goes into the car and tries to bring that stuff into my car. And I said, I don't think that you understand what I'm saying to you. I do not want any of that stuff within my vicinity. I don't want your potions, your crystals. I don't want none of that stuff in my vicinity. I said, as a matter of fact, you can walk. And while you're walking, walk to a hotel where you can set a reservation, because you ain't coming to my house with that. You see, when you're dealing with people who are walking in the colonizer narcissistic mindset, you got to be firm. You have to be firm. There's no ambiguity. You cannot operate in ambiguity, because if you operate in that ambiguity, then they will try you again. That's what you have to do. And there are times, honestly, where I have been able to just stand up and say no. And there are times where I'm like, oh, I don't want to get into it. We all bounce back and forth to dealing with this stuff, but I'm telling you that it's that mindset, and we tolerate it from one another too much. Kia says, family already labeled me as an atheist, among other things, because I'm not going to bow to the Christmas tree anymore. Kia, do you know the name for that? I want you to put in the comment section. I apologize. I want you to put in the comment section if you know the name for what your family just did to you. If you don't know the name, say I don't know the name, and I'll tell it to you. So then when you see it next time, you'll recognize it. You're quiet, but no matter what you do, some people will never do right by you. I've learned the hard way. No, they won't. That's right. Sabrina says, I understand you. I've been taken advantage of by family members, and when I stand my ground, they get offended and want to talk about me. But I'm growing to not let it bother me. 100%. You have to understand. That's the whole point. If you show them visibly that it bothers you, then you've given them your energy, and that's what they want. The devil is in the details. Say it louder. That's it. It's always the devil in the details. It's in the subtleties. And before long, you in too deep. Gotta watch those covert narcissists. That's what I really need to do, is retitle this so people understand what I'm talking about. Satan don't want us on the same page. I've learned there's personal biases in teaching. Sister, we're talking about the covert narcissist, which is essentially the colonizer mindset. Narcissistic. That's why you got to turn off YouTube and sit with the Most High. It's easy to get tossed with the wind in waves of doctrine and end up in confusion. Amen. Brother Ishan, he commented on that today. I briefly looked on social media and I saw his post, and then I got off because it was like the Most High was saying to me, take that word seriously. You're still giving your energy. Social media is still an energy exchange. So if you wonder why you're exhausted all the time, sometimes it's because you're on social media too much. That was a word for me. Brother Anthony said, you literally just described my marriage that I got out of with a Gentile woman. Y'all see it? Obviously a foreign wife. I had no idea why there was so much confusion. Because you were dealing with the spirit of narcissism, the colonizer mindset. That's what you were dealing with. Sister Shonda said, wow, I just went through that. That spirit is high right now. It's unbelievable. Yes, absolutely. Revelation 2, we are not to tolerate Jezebel, a.k.a. the narcissist. 100%. Man, y'all coming up with all the jewels. Y'all coming up with the jewels, because that spirit is most embodied in her life, in the life of Jezebel. Of course, other people too, but she was a perfect representation of an 100% complete narcissist, because she used what she could. She used everything she could to tempt the people of Yah into doing that thing which was against the Most High, so she could suck the energy out of them for the worship of her deities and for the worship of self. That's 100%. The road is only narrow because only a few follow Yah in spirit and in truth. A lot of people want to do what they want to do. Do what thou wilt. That's exactly it. I was just saying that the other day to a friend. The road is narrow. When he said the road is narrow, he meant that. The devil is so settled, Sister Talisha says. Even Simon Peter didn't know he was being adversarial to Messiah until he said, "Get thee behind me, Satan." Exactly. He was so adversarial, he didn't even know he was being used. And I want to be very clear about that, because people operate in narcissistic tendencies. That doesn't mean that they're narcissist, complete, like blown out narcissist. But there are many people who are blown out, full out narcissist that you have to be careful about. Because the first thing they do is love bomb you. I'm telling you, this is what the colonizer mindset does. Love bomb. Give you what they think you want. They study you long enough to see, oh, he likes it when this happens. He likes to hear this, or he likes to see that. She likes to hear that. She likes to see this. They'll study you, and then from the studying of you, they'll give you what it is, because they learn your patterns. They give you what it is that you want, and then that's how they wrangle you in. And next thing you know, they give you 2% and you're giving them 25%. Then you're giving them 50% and they're giving you 1%. You see, because they always reverse, and you always got to continue to give more. You giving, and they're pulling back and pulling back, but because they got you attached. They got you so attached. And you don't even understand how you got that attached. It's all in the subtleties. It's all in, oh, I'm telling them what they want to hear. I'm being kind to them when it's convenient, so I can continue to hold on. Because the minute you say, wait a minute, I think I'm being bamboozled here, then they say, oh, no, it's not like that. You're not really being bamboozled. Let me show you why you're not being bamboozled. Because I want to gift you this way. I want to give you that. I want to, come on. And next thing you know, you're in a situation where you're being pulled right back in. Oh, you're welcome if that was the answer to a marital question. Yes, it happens a lot in marriages. That's why we all need therapy. Thank Yah, for real. The devil will play you against family members. Yeah, he will. Where am I in the world? Not in America. I'm where it is warm right now. I'm in the Caribbean, friend. I've missed you too, sis. I was just thinking about you too, sister. The other day, Sister E was asking where people were in New York, I think Brooklyn, and then I was thinking about you. I was thinking about your strong New York accent. I'm talking about Sister Malka, about Israel. I was just thinking about you, and glad to see you. This is why I take breaks. Amen, Sister E. This is why I took a month off. I needed it. Oh my goodness. We are not to expect the enemy to come hard, especially now when we are of one spirit. No, it comes subtly. Where am I from? I'm from Jamaica, man. Right near the beach. I'm teasing. I am US born. I am from the Caribbean though. My roots are in the Caribbean. They know their time is at an end, so they are ramping it up, family. Yes. The Karen spirit is the Jezebel spirit repackaged. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. The Karen spirit is the Jezebel spirit repackaged. Yeah. And you know, it's sad because you look for authenticity in this world. I'm just going to be honest with y'all. Authenticity in this world is rapidly closing. If you have one good friend in the world, you're doing better than most. I'm not saying you only have to have one person in your life, but understand that trust is something that is earned, and it's hard to come by. It's very hard to come by, because once somebody has robbed you of your trust, it's very difficult to gain that back. But what we have to do, and this is the other part of us, because one of the things that we do so well is that we're able to see and we're able to understand what is happening to us, but we're not able to see our part in it. Okay? So I told you I'm going to take my time with this live today. To that sister who was said what the family members were doing, that's called gaslighting. When they call you an atheist, I didn't see your comment on there. That's called gaslighting. Okay, so be aware of it for the next time you see it. But how do we find ourselves in these situations? How do we become easy targets of this situation? Because your default mechanism, many of you, including myself, is that we're kind. We're very kind people. And we're very giving people. And when you're a very kind and a trusting and a giving person, you become an easy target for narcissists, for that spirit. So what you have to do is you have to put proper boundaries into place. If you feel bad because you are implementing and putting in boundaries into place, that's a good sign that you don't have any. Because you should never feel bad for putting in boundaries in your life. The Most High has boundaries all throughout Scripture. You will do this, you will not do that to me. I promise to do this to you if you do these things that you're supposed to do. They're conditional promises. He will not let us just do whatever we want to him and get away with whatever it is that we're doing. We have to understand that boundaries are your protection. And do not let your boundaries down. You have to have boundaries and you've got to put them in place. And some of what we need to do when we're backing away from social media is we need to take stock of the patterns in our life that have allowed us to continue to get this situation brought to us over and over again. And we need to write down and we need to say, okay, what did I do to allow this situation to happen? Okay, well, in that instance, when I really did not want to do this thing over here and I didn't agree to it, I agreed to it based off of them saying, please, can you help me out? But you knew it wasn't a good circumstance for you to do. And you were putting yourself out there for somebody who had not proven to you that they deserved that level of your help or your support. You have to be careful. I'm not saying don't help people. Be helpful. But if you don't have proper boundaries in place, what happens is as these people come in, they manipulate you, just like the ones that keep asking you for money over and over again. But you know they ain't spending the money right, but they keep asking you for money and you keep giving it to them because they tell you this is the last time they're going to ask you for money and they're going to get themselves together, but they never do. Okay. You keep giving them money. You keep giving it to them. So that's how you can change. That's what you could do. You could say, no, I already know where this is going. I already know where this is going. I'm not going to continue to feed into this person's narcissism, because at the end of the day they will do whatever they have to do and say whatever they have to say to get what they want from you. And I'm saying to you that you have to be discerning. Put up those boundaries. Write down these are my no's. This is where I draw the line in the sand. I will not do this. I will not compromise on that. I am not going to allow this person or these people to do this to me because I'm putting it in place. And stand on that. That's the key. Don't be a victim. If you know that you're the type of person that helps people and then they betray you, and then you go and say, why is it that everybody is doing this to me? You have a victim mentality. You put yourself out there to be used by people. They use you and then you say, why did they use me? You have a victim mentality. And you need to correct that. You need to stop putting yourself in circumstances and situations where you're expecting people to do you differently, but you know you have a history of going above and beyond when you didn't need to, because you're making yourself sick. Yeah, the enemy will be them of your own household. The ones you love the most, absolutely. And that's how he uses people, because he knows that he's using and pulling on your emotional cords. Everything isn't an emotional decision. Everything is not an emotional decision. Sometimes you got to pull back and you got to recognize people for who they are, whether they're your family members or not. And you got to say, you know what? No. And your cutoff game got to be stronger. Yeah, everybody needs therapy and deliverance. Amen. Amen. Realness is a precious commodity. Yes, that you have a light that they don't. And the light that you have irritates them. And because you operate under that sense of light, they have to do everything they can to stamp it out. I thought I had a good friend, but a couple of months ago things changed and I haven't heard from her since. Well, you need to confront that situation. You need to ask that if you did anything in that situation that caused them to be that way. And if they reply back to you, no, you didn't do anything, everything's fine, I've just been busy, you're probably lying. But you can't do anything about it at that point. You tried. And they're probably lying because they don't want to deal with the confrontation. Run away from that spirit like Jonathan Majors. That boy in trouble, boy. He in trouble. He in trouble, boy. She trying to Johnny Depp him. Oh my goodness, that makes total sense, because when me and my wife first got together and I told them to stay out of our business, it was a fight. There you go. Gaslighting. Textbook narcissism is a demonic spirit. It goes beyond selfishness. You can't recognize it until you've been exposed to it for a span of time. It is a subtle, manipulative monster. Well, I tell you, I'm taking my time on this live today. Some people ain't gonna get it. They checking out, you know. They checking out because they probably are the narcissists themselves, and they can't deal with that level of exposure. But yes, this is what it is. It is a demonic spirit. It does go beyond selfishness, and you don't recognize it until you've been exposed to it for a very long time. You going on, you scratching your head like, how the, what the, and the, and you think you crazy. You think you the crazy one. They will drain you of all your desires. Yes. I think we got a lot of people in here who have dealt with the colonizer mind, narcissistic spirit in here. A family member told me I was God for keeping the commandments. Mockery. That's mockery. Yes, they take your kindness for weakness. I'm going through this now, but I have no fears. I've learned to not be at a Red Cross agent. Yeah. Yeah, they take your kindness for weakness. Yeah, we are going to prevail, but the way you prevail is through understanding. A lot of us just don't understand how. We sit back and we go, how is it that we can still be in the place that we are collectively today as a people after all these years? We've been here 400 plus years and we still as a people ain't got our act together. We've been under a narcissistic system. We've been under a system of a colonizer mindset so long, and it is so subtle. Have you guys ever watched those videos on TikTok where the white woman will just bust out crying out of nowhere, and then in 2 seconds later she'll just make a straight face? Have y'all, give me a one if you've ever seen those videos. I'm gonna go down to see. Have you seen those videos with the white girls where they will have all these tears, and then in 2 seconds flat they will fix their face straight? Okay, Yaquaba, you've seen that. Sister Talisha's seen that. Harrio, yes. Coco, you've seen it. It messes up your mind, don't it? Monk, y'all all seen it, right? Okay, so when you see stuff like that, yes, it's scary. It is so scary. You see that stuff, you like, how? Just a second ago, you looked like you was in pain, and all of a sudden now you just. Straight face. It's a demon. It's a demon. Yes. That's the spirit of narcissism. The friend has a controlling spirit. This friend has a controlling spirit as a narcissist. She has a strong spirit of wanting to dominate, talk to people any kind of way, and I got tired of it. She's part of a sorority. Okay, so you got tired. Did you confront her about her controlling ways and talking to people in? And what was her response? Somebody could just block that person. Just block them. Don't even, we not timing out. Just block them. Like I said, I'm taking my time. I haven't been on here for a while. I just wanted to sit and talk with y'all. Let y'all know my mindset, stuff I have been mulling over for this past month, the stuff I've been dealing with. You know, it's been one of these situations where I just had to come to this realization that we live in a world of narcissists. I haven't seen that, but I work with them and they always trying to get their way, and they get it. Tulsa Burning had one doing that, exactly. Socio, psycho, and calcified pineal glands equal narcissist. That's right. She doesn't listen. She feels like she's right. Well, you can't do anything about that. You can't do anything. You know, again, we have to examine our hearts. And if you're dealing with somebody who is operating under the system of control and they are, you know, in your case, you know, they're talking crazy and they don't see anything wrong with that, you got to let that person be to themselves. You got to let that person be to themselves, because let me tell you, one of the best teachers that any of us will ever encounter in terms of a teacher is life. Life is an excellent teacher, my friend. Okay, and nobody's getting away with anything. Even a lot of the stuff that we deal with when we deal with narcissists is because of our life experiences, what we have done. Okay, so we have to examine our hearts. This is a time for this past month I have been spending with Yah, and I have been trying to examine my own heart and say, and look back over the steps of my life and say, okay, how did I invite this? We have to be proactive about our own lives. Nobody's going to be proactive for you. And the truth is that most people that you want to have this discussion with, they don't care. So I'm here to have a discussion with you, because I understand that it is very difficult when you're going through this situation where you're dealing with people and you're dealing with an entire system where it's the colonizer mindset. A perfect example is this movie that we've been talking about since last week with the Obamas, Leave the World Behind. The response from the white community. This is a perfect example. They are so blind. They could not see the reality for what it was, because they've been able to get away with their covert colonizing mindset so much to where they said, we're going to focus on the part of the movie where the girl said, you can't trust white people in a time like this. That's all they heard. They did not hear Julia Roberts and her subtle racist behavior and attitude towards the black character, the black man, George. They didn't see any of that. They didn't see it. So this is how narcissists are. They can't see themselves. Yeah, bad associations spoil us. Well, I'm glad that you've been at peace and don't want to go back to that friend. But don't harbor bitterness in your heart. Don't harbor bitterness. That's been an issue for me, is understanding that I can't afford to harbor bitterness in my heart for anybody. It's not good for my health. Those who are closest to me know. You know, it's not good for our health to harbor bitterness. Yeah. We're all being tested, bro. We're being tested in different ways. And again, my condolences, you know, for your loss. I know the pain. We're all going through different painful situations in different ways. And it doesn't get easier as the days increase. It doesn't. So we have to be careful to guard our hearts. This is a season of being very careful to guard your heart. You know, I often say that I know that the Most High has to gather us, and then we will be in the wilderness of the people. But I often feel like I'm in the wilderness of the people right now. You know, around a lot of people, but still feeling like being in a wilderness state. And then I was speaking to a brother about that, and he said, because this is a time where the Most High is testing us as individuals. Oh, no, Sister Malka is cool. Don't time her out. Narcissists play the perpetual victim who feel entitled to everything the world owes them. Everyone else is wrong but them. That's true. God Saint says, Sister Shonda, it blew my mind the other day when I seen the cops assault a white guy, then take him. I knew then that the curses are reversing in Philly, no less. Yeah, they're reversing for sure. Lisa Cabrera, did y'all see that report when Lisa, she said, I guess some YouTubers and some TikTokers, they're under fire because they've been reporting about all of the people out there in the tents. I don't know what city it's in, but a bunch of opioid addicts. And Lisa was saying, y'all didn't, it wasn't against the law when y'all was pushing, putting out into the world about the crack epidemic, but now that the people look like y'all, all of a sudden now you want to shut it down. That's that system. Exactly. I asked y'all, is this the wilderness we're in, or do we look for another? Sister Brew Queen, I appreciate it. I thank you. Yeah, I thank you for praying for me. Trust me, I've needed it. I've definitely needed it. I don't know how long I'm going to be on this platform, you guys. I don't know. YouTube is slamming us left and right. YouTube. I don't watch her material, but I know of her. I've talked about her before. What's that one? She's like a female Kevin Samuels. What's her name? Oh my goodness. She's always talking about black men negatively. She had a channel that was like probably 200,000 people. And YouTube shut her channel down. Some white woman complained, and her entire channel got shut down. And the white woman complained off a video that she did 2 years ago. Okay? 2 years ago. Cynthia G. Yes. Yeah, Cynthia G. Her channel got shut down. I heard about it the other day. I didn't know. Her channel's been shut down for a month. Okay? Off of a video from 2 years ago. Guys, I don't know. Because I'm not going to go back through all of my material. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go back through all my material from what I did, from 2 and 3 or 4 years ago. But YouTube, they're playing me. They just sent me something else talking about somebody's, looking at, your a song you used. And I think this is off of a prayer video I did a year ago. So I'm telling you, I don't know how long I'm going to be on here. Shalom, Sister Ann. How you doing? Yeah, it does feel like the wilderness. So I really don't know. I don't know. But what I do know is that however long it is that I'm going to be on this platform, however long it is I'm going to have this opportunity to speak, I'm grateful. I'm grateful, tremendously grateful for all the opportunity that I did have to come on here, to speak, to get to know so many of you, to minister, to just meet some really amazing people. I have met so many of you as amazing people from this platform. So I'm not like upset about it. In a way, it's like kind of like, okay, well, if this is a seasonal shift, if this is a time for the season to shift, then it's okay, because I've gotten the opportunity to be tremendously blessed by getting to know so many of you. You guys got to understand, before the pandemic, I didn't know any of you, okay? I had 250 subscribers, and I was getting ready to shut my channel down then. And the Most High sent my mailman to tell me not to. So many of you I've met through this pandemic, and I'm grateful that we have gotten the opportunity to get to know each other better. Some of you I'm a lot closer to than others, but all of you encourage me so much. You come on here and we can dialogue, we can converse. We know that we're going through a very tough time in this world, and we've been able to encourage one another through this. Now, I ain't talking about you, Sister E. Yes, I've known Sister E for probably I guess it's been like right at the start of the pandemic is when we met. Is that about the time we met? And that's when we was haggling on Berean. Back in our Berean days. Going to war back then. But I am just, I'm just tremendously grateful, and I'm going to let you guys know right now, I will not start another platform if this platform gets shut down. If this platform gets shut down, then That's it for me. As far as social media, I don't have social media. I left Facebook years ago. I have no intention of going back on social media. I'm in a different stage in my life right now, guys. I love y'all. And again, however long Yah allows me to be on here is however long he allows me to be on here. As long as Sister E opens up a platform, it allows me to come on and say a couple of words, or, Tail Ministries, or anybody else who I built relationships with over these last couple of years. As Yah leads, I will. But I will not go and start up another channel. I'm not going to start another social media account. None of that. I'm going to appreciate it for what it is and for what it was. I'm going to attend to the next portion and stage of my life. So just know, that you all mean more to me than you will ever know. I mean, it's not in the amount of subscribers. It's in the Brew Queens. It's in the Brother Timothys. It's in the Brother Karis's. It's in the Sister E's. It's in the Talishas. It's in those of you who I can call you by name, right? Or your handle, because you show up every time. It's in the Mama Mariahs. It's in those of you who have just been there for me, who have encouraged me, who have prayed for me and my family, who have supported us, who, when I don't show up, email and say, Sister Ashanda, I'm praying for you. You all right? It's in that. The Carolinas, it's in those of you who are continuously, and I'm not calling out those of y'all name right off this bat. I know many of your names, but I'm just saying, I'm calling out a few of you. But I just want to say it's in all of you who have just encouraged me through these last couple of years. It's been a lot. It's been a whole lot. And I'm going to tell you, it's been a lot of warfare. It's been a lot of warfare. But to know that I've had this time to develop these relationships. It's hard even looking in this camera right now because I ain't going to tear up. But just to know that I've been able to develop so many wonderful relationships, I am just tremendously grateful. I will always be grateful to Yah for all that he has done. And I do look forward to seeing many of you in the wilderness. I am so thankful for those of you who even come down to even see me. Little old me, who have spent time with me personally, and the Tias, and those of you know who you are. You know who you are. I love y'all. I mean that. I mean that. So I'll be back on when I'm back on, y'all willing. Just wanted to check in with y'all. Just want to talk about where I've been in this past month. And, I'm going to keep this live up. I'm probably keep this live up for a couple of days. I might take it down. I don't know. But I do love y'all and I appreciate y'all. And I want y'all to be blessed. I want y'all to have shalom, peace in your lives and your families. I want y'all to know that Yah is always with us, no matter what. No matter whether our platforms remain or they close out, Yah is always with us. And he's got plans. That's one thing, a Gentile sister of mine who, she was there for me in some of the hardest times of my life, and she just lost her husband not too long ago. And she would always say to me, and she don't say Yah, she says, God's got plans, And I say that to y'all, Yah has plans. His plans are what's most important for all of our lives. So, thank you, Chosen Hebrew. I love you too. Sister Lamara, I love you too. I'm going to call out some of your names before I go, just so that you know that you guys are in my heart and in my mind. Diamond love you. Mama Mariah, I love you. Sister Avon, I love you. Carolina, love you. Brother Bobby, Sister Sharon, Sister Kia. No, he ain't done with me. No, I know he ain't done with me, sis. I think he's just got different plans for me. This is not my last video. I'm just saying I think he's got different plans for me. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. You know I'm be always hitting you up anyway, harassing you. You know, y'all don't know. Listen, I harass Sister E. I mess with her all the time. I'm always messing with her. And that dog Rio. There's my sis right there, Sister Carol. Yes. This journey. All right, family. So whenever I come back on, y'all willing this when I'm going to get back on. For those of you, I wanted to tell you guys, those of you who have been supporting me financially, especially those of you who support me monthly, man, I just want to tell you thank you. Because I know I ain't been consistent. I know. Listen, I know I haven't. I've been through a lot this month. Y'all continue to keep my grandmother in prayer. I'm praying for the best outcome for her and her health. Because right now we don't know. We'll see what happens. But I ask y'all for prayer, and I just want to thank you guys for continuing to support me. And however the Most High leads you, however long He leads you to, that's up to between you and Him. You know, that's between you and Him. But I just want you to know I appreciate you, and trust me, it's been a tremendous blessing. Thank you so much, Brew Queen. I appreciate you. I love you too, sis. Yeah, I've done that before, Brother Yaquaba. You know, building bridges was a spinoff from the 714 Fellowship. We started 714 Fellowship, and then we moved into building bridges. And my brother Karis took building bridges over, and I appreciate all that he did with building bridges. But he worked hard with that group, and we developed so many great relationships out of that group. But then the Most High advanced him to QTUA, and I was so happy for him because he's such a strong leader. So you guys please support Quest to Unite Africa. They are doing an amazing work, and they're very level-headed, and that's something that we need. We can't be pie in the sky. We got to be level-headed. They're very level-headed, and they know what direction that Yah is sending them in, and they're walking in that. So please support the work of Quest to Unite Africa. I believe in the vision that Yah has given them. Even if I'm not working directly with them, I believe in the vision and the people. I love the people that are part of the organization. They are my family. They have proven themselves as trustworthy, and I'm grateful for them. So that's my recommendation, is to support the work and the laborers that are actually out here that are doing that work, that are laboring for the kingdom, that are looking to see Yasharel, the dry bones, the four parts of the earth coming together. Those of us who are dispersed to the four corners of the earth coming together, those in the diaspora and on the continent. So I appreciate them doing the work that they're doing. All right, family, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Again, those of you celebrating the Feast of Dedication, I'm going to be celebrating on Wednesday with my family. Happy Feast of Dedication to you all. May you be blessed. I think I'm going to go take a nap. I'm going to go get me some lunch. I haven't eaten nothing today, y'all. So I'm going to go get me some lunch, and I'm probably going to take a nap. All right, family. I love y'all. Y'all be blessed, and I will see you, y'all willing, next time. And don't forget, love yourselves without hating your enemies. And until next time, y'all bless. Salam.